Today we are going to learn about properties. So first, what is the usage of properties? To learn that, just first let me create a new class. Right click on the solution namespace, then class, and this is properties example dot saves. As usual, just I'm adding here main method static void main. After that, change the priority to this class. Now this is property example, right? So here I'm taking a new class here. So public class. So otherwise you can take a class, then class name is for this. Now here we have two variables like int a and b. Now I want to initialize these a and b from this class. So what are the facilities we have? So far we learned different techniques, right? So among those, what are the techniques we can use to initialize these variables? So the first one here, you need to observe access specifier of these variables. So now already we learned by default class member is private, right? So you cannot initialize these variables directly. So even though if you create an object to this class, you cannot access here. So object dot, you cannot access those a and b because those are private variables. So then what are the ways? So what are the ways we have to initialize these members? So the first one is the method. So here we can write a method like public void do it something, any name you can give here. So here you can initialize the values. So if you want to pass the values also, just take the variables here int I comma int j, right? Now a equal to I and b equal to j. This is one of the approach to initialize the members, private members from outside the class. Now how you can object dot do it, then pass the values here 45 comma something 67 this. Okay, so these values we are initializing into the a and b indirectly with the help of method. So now what is the second way to initialize these values? We can use constructor as well as. So here I'm creating the constructor. So constructor access specifier is public, then name is for, so the name should be the class name. Now here also the same thing you can do here int I comma int j. Now a equal to I, then b equal to j. So this is another approach to initialize the members, right? So now what you can do here, you can pass something values like 67 and something 78. Got it? So these are the two ways, but apart from this we have another way to initialize the private member. So that is nothing but properties. So by using the properties we can initialize the values, mainly the private members from outside the class. Got it? So first we see the syntax of the properties. We see the syntax of the properties. So coming to the syntax, the first one is the access specifier, this is, then return type, then property name, pn in the sense property name, then there is no parenthesis for this, same like method, but method has the parenthesis, right? Now here we don't have the parenthesis. Then in method we have the statements, but here we have two accessories. Actually we are calling these as accessories. The first one is the get and the second one is the set. This. Okay, so by using the get accessor, just what we are doing, we are reading the value. We are reading the value. So return value, in the sense it gives you the value. So more we can say it is as read property. So by using this property we can read the value. Okay, now set accessory. So what we can do, we can initialize the value here by using the set. So it is known as write property. Got it? So we see same in Visual Studio. Now come back to the Visual Studio, remove these two things, otherwise just remove this constructor, keep the method here we use for another coding, right? Just this. Now remove here also. Okay, this is just we have an object and here we have a simple class. So now I'm going to write the properties here. The first one is the access specifier, right? So always make sure access specifier is public. Why? We need to call this property from outside the class. The purpose of the property itself, it is calling the class member from outside the class. Okay, so that is always make sure access specifier is public, then return type. So same here, what is the type of this variable? Integer. So that same type here you need to use int. Then name, here also same, you can give any name, but we need to keep those rules in your mind. So simply I'm giving here PA, property for A, whatever you want you can. So now this is the scope of property. So as we seen here, we have two accesses. The first one is the get and the second one is the set. So get, by using get we can read the value, so return A. Got it? So now by using set we can initialize the value. So here A equal to value, this. Now this is known as read property and this is known as write property. Got it? Okay, this is read and this is for write. Now if a property contains both set and get accessories, it is known as read and write property. In the sense, by using that property you can read the value and you can write the value. That is why it is calling read and write property. Got it? So suppose if this property contains only this only, in the sense only get accessory only, then it is known as read only property. So we cannot initialize the value by using this property. We can read only. Got it? In the same way, suppose if we have only set accessory, then it is known as write only property. If it contains both, then it is known as read and write property. If it is contains only set, then it is known as write only property. If it is contains only get, then it is known as read only property. Got it? So now this property is for A. Now same way we need to write the property for B also. So for that here I'm writing public int property name PB, then here get, we can write like this, get return B. Okay, then set B equal to value, and you need to remember here this value is fixed. It holds the value and it initializes the value into the B. But here when you are returning, you need to give the variable name, but when you are initializing, it should be value. Got it? Now we have these two properties. Now the first one is PA and second one is PB. How to access this? Very simple, with the help of object. Here you can see PA. It is public member, so you can access from outside the class also. So object dot PA. Now give the value as 10, and now object dot PB, give the value as something like 15. Now what I do, I call this method. In this method I will write some message like console.writeLine, and this is addition is, so we are getting A plus B. Got it? And now simply after initializing the values, just call the doIt method. And now finally to stay back the screen, use here console.read. Now run this, you get here 25. So this is another way to initialize the private members from outside the class, and this is the main, what we can say, main approach. Okay, frequently we are using the properties. Now if you observe, just what we are doing, we are initializing the value into the property, right? We are not reading the value. So in this case, not required this one. Getting my point? Just we are sending the value, but we are not reading the value, right? So that is why these are the optional. So still, if you want to use, you can use those things like this. Now here what I'm doing here, console.writeLine addition is, now we are getting from object.pa and object.pp. So here what we are doing, we are reading the values. Here we are writing the values. Got it? So same output you can get here. Suppose if you are not doing like this, if you are doing like this, then in this case these are the optional, not required this. Now you get the same output. Suppose if the property doesn't have the get accessory, still if you are using, it will show you an error. See here, the property doesn't have the get accessory, so you cannot use. Got it? Yeah, this is the way to using the property. And here in a method, what you can do, same you can do here, no problem. So what I want to say here, a equal to value, right? So if you want, you can do like this, a equal to value plus something 50. What it will do, what is the exact value you are passing here? 10. So it will add the 10 plus 50, 60 into the a. So this time 60 plus 55, 15, 75 you get. So here whatever you want you can do, it doesn't matter. So for example, you can do like this, into j equal to value. Okay, now here you can write j a equal to j into j. Now here what is the value we are passing? 10. Now but in a we are initializing 10 into 10, 100. Now 100 plus 15, 115. Got it? So this is the way of using properties. So depends on the requirement, we are using both accessories or only one accessory. And by default the access specifier of this accessory is same as that property. Got it? So this is all about properties. Just tomorrow we are going to learn about indexes.